And once again, a huge shout out to all of our financial supporters who help us fund not just this show each week, but also our epic annual Christmas giveaways. I also have a Spotify membership for those who wish to do it there, and also now on Twitch. But a big shout out to the community, our 87.8 Survivors Clubs. Your names are all there on the screen. Our podcast bosses, Kenny Baker, Cinnamon, Broken Fret, and Reed Roy, 2 new members there. Thank you so, so much. But a big, big shout out to our live show Chad, the one, the only, Mr. Good Cluck himself, Roger Roaster. But just know, everyone, that all of you are legends who, just by watching the show each and every week, help keep us going strong. Thank you all for your support, and we hope you enjoy this week's show. And welcome to episode 172 of the DayZ Podcast. Unfortunately, our guest doesn't look like they're going to be able to make it because the computer has broken. But this week, no time zone dramas. So we have got the one, the only Cobra back. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, hello, mate. Good to be back. Yeah, it was a bit of a strange one last week, wasn't it? Daylight saving hours, all this rubbish, and a new setup. Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Anyway, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad at all. I'll just send you that link now, mate, for the show on YouTube. But yeah, I know Scale Speeder on time, amazing. It's actually it's just turned 5:01, but yeah, we're getting better. We're getting better. Starting to only been 3 years, and we're starting to actually get professional. But that's what helps when you bring on professionals, isn't it, Cobra?
Absolutely, mate. You got to have something set up, mate, haven't you? Jesus.
Speaking of professional, no Lemons at this stage this week. I know he's online, but it looks like he's playing Zagoria on the DayZ Xbox, so hopefully he joins us soon. But yeah, you can't message in chat.
Yeah, it's not letting me message in chat. It's saying only the host can message.
That's okay. That's something we'll have to look into. That you can't. You're talking about the chat box in the app we're using.
Yeah, I'll go to YouTube, mate, if it's on YouTube. So that's fine. I'll go YouTube way. It's all good,
mate. Everyone's blowing up on Twitter and in the Discord and that. DayZ just hit an all-time concurrent record player again.
Yes, I saw, mate. I saw, and that's great to see. That is fantastic to see. I think, like I say, I think a lot has happened in the last few weeks with this update. The 123 has been, in my view, it's been such a great it's probably the best. In fact, it is the best update for so long, man. The skybox changes everything for me.
Yeah.
I think the airfield being changed up is done a lot as well. I just think it gives a whole brand new feel to DayZ in. It's a great timing as well because all of these new players are starting to come in and take a look, and they're looking at these type of things and going, Jesus, where have I been? Where's this game been? I think that's where we're at, mate, right now.
Yeah. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Oh, we just lost Cobra. That's why I did that. No, we are still live, so it wouldn't be a podcast without technical issues. What happened then?
There you go. There you go, mate. I'm not fucking sure. I've got no idea, but I'm back in. So yeah, all good.
Hey, your audio's just gone really ordinary as well.
Is that all gone strange as well? Is it?
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's absolutely amazing. That 10 years on and still hitting all-time concurrent player records. It's a phenomenal game, mate. It is an absolutely phenomenal game.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Is my mic still coming through dodgy?
Yeah.
Mate, I might have to come out and completely
down the bottom. You should see there's like the mute button and there's a little drop down arrow next to it, and you can see which microphone is connected there.
Yeah. I know I've got all that. It's the right microphone. I think that kicking out situation is screwed with that. I think I need to properly rejoin, mate. So bear with me a minute. Bear with me a minute.
Wouldn't be a show without tech issues, folks. So we'll get there. But yeah, no, it absolutely blows my mind that after all this time, DayZ still going strong. It's just a freak of a game, the ultimate zombie game. It just won't freaking die. But yeah. Now, we were going to be getting Jemmy Boo on, but as I mentioned, she's having some tech issues. Her PC is sadly broken, so I doubt that she will be making it, which is kind of sad. I hope she's able to get that sorted because I know that there's nothing worse than your PC breaking, especially if you're, a tech tard like myself and unable to sort that sort of thing out yourself. So yeah.
Right, how's that?
It's still kind of the same, but it's not that bad, mate. It's just a little tinny, but yeah, it'll do for the show.
I'll bring it closer. There you go.
But yeah, g'day, new fryer. Who's that? That's Stephen. This is what I love about your show, man. Tech issues, mate. It's kind of you think DayZ Podcast, you think Boomer, you think an idiot named Boydie, and you think tech issues. But yeah. Okay, so let me bring up the agenda for this week. With no guest, it should be a shorter show, but I put a post up about cheaters, and a lot of people thought I was talking about a certain person, but I wasn't. There was a few lads in the Australia region who got themselves a reputation as being quite a toxic group of players, Cobra. But one of them was alleged to have cheated. Now, from what I understand, that was based on an admin watching them or something like that. They did have someone who apparently was found and proven to have been cheating, who used to play with them. But they lodged an appeal. Because they were a bunch of young guys, and one of them who hadn't cheated, he was banned, that usual sort of thing where they do the guilty by association ban. And the overwhelming response from nearly everyone, as well as some of the admins of this server, was once a cheater, always a cheater. And
yes, I saw this.
Yeah, I think I've shown myself that I do believe people can change. Yeah, we're not talking about murder. We're not talking about, doing nasty things to kids and all the rest of it. We're talking about cheating in a bloody video game. But the amount of people who firmly believe once a cheater, always a cheater, it kind of stunned me. Like, I get it. I do get where they're coming from. Hence why in the thumbnail of this one, I've got that meme about cheating. But where do you sit yourself on that, Cobra?
Right. Okay. So I've got a couple of little stories for you then. So it's a very difficult debate to have, I think, because people.
It is.
Some people can change. Yes, agreed. But the thing is, if you're putting something out there and you're saying it's definitely this one thing, and then it's proven because you've been dishonest that it's definitely not that one thing that you're advertising that it is, then you're always, I think, in my view, you're always going to have that shadow. I mean, I won't mention a name, but I think we all know who I'm going to probably talk about. That has never left that individual. One of the biggest YouTubers around is always stayed with him. Now, I've got a friend of mine. I won't mention it. Well, in fact, I will. He won't mind. His name's Hell on Discord, and I've known him for about 3-4 years. Lovely guy. Very honest, straight up. All the time I've known him, he's been such a good lad. Wouldn't do anything stupid. Wouldn't talk about, minorities or any kind of silly homophobia stuff or anything like that. Not racist, nothing like that. And he was in his home, and he had a couple of his cousins to stay for a few months, right? They all played DayZ together separately when they was in their own houses. Now, my guy allowed his cousin to jump on his PC to play DayZ, and he got caught. This is how it was relayed to me. He got caught on a very well-known server, and he got banned. I'm not sure what he used, what hack he used, whatever it was. Anyway, 2 weeks later, I get a message from my friend saying, "Look, I can't play this server. You're about to do a video." And I said, "Well, what's the matter?" And he said, "But I've been banned." I said, "Well, what happened? Because if you have, then I can't really have you associating with me because I can't have a cheater on my team." And it turns out, he said, "Look, this is the God's honest truth." And I don't disbelieve him for 1 minute. I think this is 100% genuine. Otherwise, I wouldn't have him around me. And he said, "Look, I contacted the server owners. I explained the situation. Yes, he was using one of my accounts. He's got 2 accounts. And he said it was my main account. And he got accused of doing something that he shouldn't have done." I said, "Okay, fine." So he appealed it. They let him off, right? They overturned it. Anyway, 3 months later, he gets banned again. And it's the alt account that's linked to his main account this time. And it was for basically a minor breach of the rules. And he was raided a base outside of raid times. It was that simple, right? Now, this is the point I'm getting to is this. The server owners, in my view, this is really difficult for me because I think if I was the server owner and I had that happen, and then there's a breach of another rule, I'm probably going to ban that person. I think we'd probably mostly would agree with that.
Where there's smoke, there's fire, 100%.
Yeah, right. So on this occasion, he's actually, in my view, broken one minor little rule ever, and someone else has stitched him up on his account. And now he cannot ever play. He's banned for life on that server. So therefore, I can't play with him. I can't have him in any of my videos. Do you see? So it's an emotive subject. And I think all of us, when we're learning, if we're going to put something out, when we're learning to do something, we make mistakes. But there's a big difference between making a mistake and putting something out there knowing that you are cheating. So
and unfortunately for your friend as well, that's literally the oldest and worst excuse that so many gamers have used in the past.
Absolutely.
It wasn't me, it was a friend using my computer or my profile or something like that. And like, you saw me smiling as you were retelling it. It was
absolutely.
like, oh my guy, come on. You've got to have something better than that, but I still stand by that. People deserve a second chance. And that's pretty much it. If you fuck up again, regardless. And Michael's just said in chat there, cheaters can change in some ways. Someone 17 is going to do a lot of things they won't do when they're 30 years old. I share quite often the quote by Muhammad Ali that's attributed to Muhammad Ali. A man who views the world the same as he did at 20 when he's 50 has wasted 30 years of his life. I know I personally am a very, very different person to the guy I was when I was 20, to the guy I was when I was 15. I wasn't even a guy then. I was just a lad with a few curly hairs sprouting out of my nether region. But the things I did when I was younger, I look back at now and I see so many people talk about this as they get older that, the things that I did were so stupid, but there seems to be this whole, once a cheater, always a cheater. But there are so many other aspects of life where we are forgiving of people and we understand that people can learn and people can develop. It wasn't me, Melbourne. It was a bunch of guys. And I went into bat sort of because I love there being bad guys on servers. There needs to be someone who, everyone kind of looks at and goes, they're the dicks of the server. But if they are cheating or breaking rules or exploiting, and that needs to be outed. Tell us what you did, Boydie. No, but like Michael says, cheating says a lot more about your character than it does your gaming skills. 100%. If you are prepared to cheat in an online game where it's going to affect other people, that's a scar on your reputation that you've got to live with. And like you said, there are people in this community, content creators, who either have admitted to it or people suspect them of doing it, and that's something they've got to live with. People are always going to look at them and go, "Oh yeah, that guy." You only got to go to YouTube, and there's dozens and dozens of hundreds of videos of streamers and content creators getting caught cheating. And
through stupidity as well, through their own stupidity. That's the worst thing.
I think I shared one recently, and I put a video I'd watched, and I said I'm absolutely amazed at the amount of streamers who install cheat software and then have the shortcut on their desktop. And everyone knows that when you're streaming, at some stage you're gonna fuck up and your overlay or whatever's gonna drop, and you're gonna show your desktop, and everything's gonna be there for everyone to see. Do you
know what? Right? Do you know what? Two things I'll say on that. Right? Look at it from a different perspective. We have a prison system. This is slightly going off topic here, but we have a prison system. Mm-hmm. And if we say someone has been accused of something, they've been found guilty in court, or whatever at trial, and they go to prison for that crime, they come out, whether they've changed or not. If it's a long time, they probably have changed somewhat, and they're given a second chance, right? So I get all of that, and I accept and I agree with that. I understand that's the way of the world, and I can understand that, right? I remember when I was 11 years old, man, I went downstairs and took a cookie out of the cookie jar and said I didn't do it.
Mate, you probably did that yesterday and blamed it on the kids.
Yeah, well, to be fair, mate, I may well have done last week. But at the end of the day, the point is, I do get both points. But going back to my mate a minute, he's one of the most genuine guys I've ever met. So even though I believe him, it doesn't matter what I believe. I still have to worry about when I'm on a server. I have to worry about that. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's so difficult. It's such an open-ended, two-pronged situation there.
Where I stand is if you're a cheater, it says a lot about you, and you deserve, if you're caught or even accused of it, especially when it's a community server, you deserve any punishment you get.
Agreed.
I do believe that people deserve at least a second chance in most cases. Now, I'll add a caveat to that. If when you're accused of it, you go straight to, dropping N-word bombs or other, you get on the defensive and you just become an absolute piece of shit in the messages where they're talking to you about why they banned you, then sorry, I don't have any time for you. A good server admin team, they're dealing with a lot of shit, and I totally understand why they would just say no, you've gone. But for the majority of people, if they fess up to it, I think they deserve a second chance. We give people second chances for so much in life. There are so many stories out there of people who've reformed themselves for doing stuff a lot more serious than cheating in a video game, and they've become better examples of humans. At the same time, there's also some who are lying about it, and they're only putting on a charade.
That's the difference.
It's hard to tell. But at the end of the day, we're talking about cheating on a video game. I know there are, this one here from Melbourne. If anyone doesn't think cheating is a major issue in DayZ, go watch Titan's ban log. Literally tens of cheaters banned a day. And look, we know
Sunnyvale's the same, mate. Sunnyvale's got a lot. I went on Sunnyvale last month, right, for about 3 hours just to check out.
Well, that's a good server to talk about because they've had their own scandal.
Yeah, they did. They did. Well, that's why I went back on there. And I was having a chat with one of the admins on there, and they had banned over 50 people that day alone for cheating. 50 people in one day they had banned for cheating, and that was a daily thing going on a few months back. So yeah, look, I mean, we all know there are cheaters out there. I mean, personally, I'll tell you, my personal stand is this: if you are sad enough to spend money on cheats, then you clearly shouldn't be playing the fucking game. That's it. That's the end of it.
Yeah.
I can't say any clearer than that. That's my opinion.
I will never use cheats in an online game. I had a server where I was an admin on it, and I couldn't even use the admin tools in that properly, let alone bloody trying to flick on aimbots and all the rest of it. And Michael, one of the things, like the reason why I wanted to talk about this a bit more is for people who are in my region. There's not a lot of high pop servers in Australia. I think we get about 3 or 4 each night. And when you've got, and it's something we've talked about in the past, but when you've got a tool like CF Tools, where those bans are shared, again, if you get a ban on one, that can affect you on every server. And then you're limited to playing the official servers with the rest of the cheaters. Some might argue, and that's where you deserve to be. But we do know that. This whole guilty by association. Another saying that I love, Cobra, is if you sleep with dogs, you wake up with fleas. So, a lot of people say they don't know that their friend was cheating when their friend is caught or something like that. I don't know. I don't think I've ever played with a cheater. Maybe I have and just not known, but I don't know if I'd be able to tell if someone was cheating. Other than, I as skeptical as I am, I'm also pretty trusting. I played with some people who've got ungodly skills at DayZ. You've only got to look at someone like a Shroud or a Toprek or a Minder. When I used to play PUBG, Cobra, the amount of people I reported for cheating because I wasn't sure if what they were doing was possible or not. It just seemed inhuman to me. And then I started watching videos of people playing it, and it was like, there are some people out there who are madly skilled at games.
Oh, there is. I mean, again, I'll tell you about another story I had about 5 months ago. So everyone that I run, everyone that ever does it, I do the community projects every year where I invite members of my community, anywhere between 5 to maybe 12 people every year to do a video with me, right? Now, the first thing I do, I'll spend a week vetting them, having chats with them in Discord, checking if they've got ban accounts, CF tool, all the rest of that kind of stuff. And the kind of rule I have is that if anyone has got any kind of ban for cheating, they will never be a part of anything I'm doing. I won't have it on my stuff. But the fact of the matter is, there was a guy that was quite a new player, but he had played Call of Duty and a few other games, PUBG, over the years, and he said he felt he'd be quite good at the PvP aspect. This guy wrecked a team of 6 before the rest of us could catch up with him, right? And he got reported on the server for cheating. I said to him, hold on, everyone that runs with me, you got to clip them. I make sure that if we get into anything that's a base raid or a PvP situation, I either get them to clip it so that I can use their point of view, or I get them to record when they're running with me, right? So I can always go back. And if they don't record or clip it, then I'll go, well, look, you can't run them. Simple as that. But luckily, he had clipped the entire situation, and he was quite a new player to DayZ, and he was just that good. Just that good. You can't. What can you do about that?
There's games that have got that built into it. When they detect someone playing too well, and they'll just ban them. for 24 hours while they investigate. And I've seen streamers before playing. I think it was mainly PUBG, where and there's lots of videos of it where I got banned for killing too many people on this match or something like that, and you're like, yeah. And again, it kind of comes back to the for admins, they've just got to make sure that they document their bans well, because we know admins can easily, just like there are some people who go to the dark side and become a cheater. Well, there's admins who also go to the dark side and become badmins. Someone may say something, tell them they're a dickhead, and that gets under their skin. And then they lodge a ban, and they lodge very little info about it, but those bans go onto a shared tool that people can, So without video proof, I can't stand cheaters myself, but I just think there needs to be a better standard than once a cheater, always a cheater, particularly when a lot of the proof is vague.
It's questionable. Yeah, very questionable. I mean, don't get it wrong. If you've got it clear as day, then it's a simple update on that log, and it says caught cheating using this cheat or hack, whatever it is, and that's what needs to go on there. But ultimately, as you said, we've discussed this before. I remember when yourself, me, Archie, and I think Lemons, even Lad had a conversation about this before, where ultimately it's in the hands of people who can be a pain in the arse and not very good at recording things. And half the time, there's a lot of bans that can be appealed and they get them overturned because actually the admins are at fault. I'm not being funny, but I've been an admin on a server myself. You can see clearly a lot of the time if you're following a player. If look, if they're shooting up in the air and someone dies, then they're clearly cheating. If they're speed running across the map, they're clearly cheating. There's quite a few very easy, basic things that you can do as an admin to determine that. The harder ones, though, are the ones which I do feel have to be explained a little bit more if you're going to ban someone. So but we all know there's an issue there. So hopefully over time that gets a little bit better.
And look, I don't want to, admins do a stressful enough job as it is, particularly on some of these very high pop servers where they're getting a lot of stuff that isn't just about cheats. It's about, bug gear and all the rest of it. But it needs to be reasonable, the expectations on them. But I just think without concrete hard proof, and it's very difficult to, unless a person is a streamer, or you can access their computer and maybe you jump into a Discord call and get them to show their files or something like that, which I don't know if I'd be comfortable with. I don't know what information someone can garner from me sharing stuff, even just a shared screen. But I like this one, Michael. Anybody who cheats at DayZ should be forced with my ex-girlfriend for 48 hours. Trust me, they'll never cheat again. Problem solved, Beam. You're welcome.
Sounds an interesting one. Let's not go into that.
Yeah, my ex-wife can be included in that package. Oh God. Oh wow. But I'd just like to see a slightly higher standard of I've talked about this before, of the evidence that's recorded when they're banning someone, chat logs or anything like that. And my advice to anyone accused of it is don't be a dick in the DMs with the admin team when they accuse you of it. I know human emotion can affect you, especially if it was, say, a false ban. You just, or you were banned because you were playing someone you didn't know was a cheater. But you've got to put yourself in the shoes of the admin team. Yes, there are some bad men, but there are also, the majority of them are just good people who, for the most part, aren't getting paid for what they do, aren't getting fame and glory by running a DayZ podcast or the biggest YouTube channel. They're just people who are passionate about a game and a community, and they don't deserve the shit they get.
Don't forget also there's a very limited lifespan for server owners and server admins. I mean, you do a year of that shit and, that's going to have a toll on you. You think about it, if it's a popular server, even if it's half pop server, you are going to get multiple daily tickets. If you can imagine, you've got multiple servers. So, for instance, some of the bigger server owners out there that've got maybe 10, 15 servers, you're dealing with like hundreds, if not thousands of tickets a day. and half of those tickets are just non-credible. Some of them, you know, a lot of them will be utter rubbish. They didn't agree with something. So, you know, I've got another good friend of mine who's been a long-term server owner, and he's got a whole team of 8-9 people who work, you know, for him. But even that, I've seen him in the last 2 years lose all faith and interest. You know, I've seen the whole team dissolve. You know, so you've also got to take in mind, by the time you do get to that admin who's just annoyed, who's been sat there supposed to have done other things with a family or whatever else for maybe 6 hours dealing with tickets, and you order 50, 60th ticket that comes in, and someone says he's been cheating, she's been cheating, you know, there comes a point, I think it would do my head in. I would probably be sitting there going, do you know what? I don't care if you have or not, mate. You know, this is what's been said. Tell me otherwise. You know, and unfortunately, you are going to get annoyed, tired people on admin teams. So just if you're decent to them and say, look, you know, there's a clip, do what they've asked you to do, then a majority of it can be resolved, I think, unless you are actually cheating, and then you're in deep shit. So there you go.
Yep. I don't know. Give people a chance where they deserve it. But I understand why some servers just say, no, you know, they deal with enough shit as it is, and it's mostly an unappreciated job being a server admin. So, yeah. Someone said they were going to sue me before they went on a massive rant. God, the guy. Yeah. Wow. Okay, a quick shill, folks. Make sure you go and check out Humble Bundle. I'll be sharing. In fact, we might do a few giveaways during this show for the loyal people who are here. Most of the games that I've gotten this month don't interest me. But let me just show you what there is this month as part of the Humble Bundle choice.
Oh, hello. Not quite sure what's happened there. I'm not sure if Boyd is still here or not. Oh, dear. I assume he is. Let me just have a little look here, people. Hold on 2 minutes. Well, it looks like you're stuck with me for the time being. Welcome to the Cobra DayZ show. Yeah, boys left me straight in it. Anyway, what do you reckon on my new background, people? So as you'll see the background up here, there is the old collection of Star Wars memorabilia. Oh, Christ, I'm old now. I'm old. Not that I used to collect these, by the way, but what I can say is my son does, and he's made a wall behind us purely for streaming. We've got to add a few bits on there. So let us know what you think. And I think if Boyd doesn't come back quickly, I'll go on to my spotlight, but we'll see what happens. We've got a few more bits to get hold of here, including Wobo's latest video dealing with all the new stuff in DayZ. So I'll just hold on for a couple of moments to see if Boyd does come back, because I know that he's going to have quite a bit to say about this type of stuff. Would you say, Glads? Better than the Black Patrol? Yeah, I know, mate, I know. Love the Viking. Do you know what? The Vikings, right? I've never actually watched this. Apparently it's a really good series. I need to go and take a little look at this. But anyway, yeah, I'm not even quite sure why he's put that poster there. But anyway, there's a few more bits that need to be updated here. Okay, well, I'll tell you what I do. I haven't got controls. I haven't actually got controls. Boyd's got the controls to play videos so that you guys can see what is going on. So there's no point in me moving on to the next topic before Boyd gets back, because you won't be able to see it. So there's that. I'm going to quickly message him now and see what he's actually getting up to. So bear with us. I think he's probably, by the looks of it, had to reset the whole bloody stream. But let's just see if he pops back in. Where are you? There he is. He's gone completely offline. Oh dear. You coming back, mate? Let's see what he says. Let's see what he says. He's here. Okay. I don't know if you can hear me or not, mate, but I can't hear you at all. So I'm not sure what is going on there, but there's only my face on the screen right now, Boydie. The humble bumble got bumbled. I think it did, mate. How many subs for you to strip there? I need a bloody hell of a lot. I tell you what, speaking of which, we're just about to hit 20k on my channel. So if you bump it up to 50, mate, and I'll think about it. How's that? How's that? We'll see what goes on. Oh dear. Let me just see what he's doing here. Anyone else going to just leave you stranded? I think most of the team have, mate, by the looks of it. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's just coming up here. Something's trying to upload, and I think it's what Boydie was trying. His bundle was trying to upload, and what it's done is I think it's kicked him completely off the stream. But anyway, you coming back? Oh, hold on. I think he says he's here. He may have to close the stream down completely. I'll tell you what, these technical issues on these streams. I mean, I think we need a techie in here. We need Loudback. You do need bloody Loudback. I'll tell you that now. At least Loud had the controls, don't we? At least Loud had the controls so he could switch over and play the videos, whereas I can't. So, but anyway, the upload is on 96% right now. I'm hoping that when it hits the 100, the screens will all return. See, I can't even bloody put up an intermission screen. I can't do anything on here. This Boydie has controls to everything. Hold on. So bear with me 2 minutes, people. I'm just going to quickly have a little look and just see if I can actually change anything on here. I might be able to mess around with the settings. No, he's gone. He's completely offline, Boydie is. Well, I think for the time being, there's very little I can actually fill the time with, bearing in mind I cannot put any videos up. Oh, hold on. You want me to sing a song? Oh, that ain't going to go down too well, lads. That is not going to do the trick, mate. I'm telling you that now. I think Boydie is messaging in the YouTube chat saying he's here. Oh, hold on. Hold on. I'm not sure what he's doing there, but it looks like he's getting it up and running again.
I'm not mad.
There we go.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see anything else, only your picture.
Yeah, what is going on here? Okay, so give me a sec.
Stephen, priceless. You're damn right there, mate. Tell us about your time in the French Foreign Legion. Go on, Boydie. Scale wants to know about your time in the French Foreign Legion, mate.
Oh, why is it doing this? Why is it putting us both on top of each other?
I have no idea, mate. Oh, there you go. Sexy time. You two on top of each other. Let's get that vision out of my head. Michael, keep that shit to yourself, mate.
And I've never seen tech issues like this before with this. Wow.
Well, it's a good job there's not 3 of us here, mate. If Lemons was here, this would probably mess it up even more. All I can see happening, mate, is a switch between your head and mine.
Yeah.
And that is it.
I don't know. Okay, so I think we sadly might have to call the quits on the show. I don't know what happened then. As soon as I opened that Humble Bundle, and it was just a window, it just completely froze the server, mate. So
you're right, Scal. Ah, dear. Well, I'm not sure what's happened there.
we'll give it a sec. We'll see what happens when Cobra comes back, whether that puts us onto separate screens. Gas Feeder's next video, the do's and don'ts of how to have a podcast. There we go. We are back. Say something,
Right.
Cobra. Hey!
Right. You hear me now?
Oh, we are back. We're back. Guess who's back?
Oh,
Back
no.
again. Okay,
Oh, no.
so Wobo's video.
Yes,
He predicted a possible DLC based on some code and stuff he found in the loading screen of that. So, did you watch that one, Cobra?
Yeah, I saw it all, mate. Quite an interesting episode, really. I wasn't going to talk about that, but yeah, there is that. So, I'm just catching up on bringing up the YouTube screen back up. But anyway, yes, I did, mate. I did. It's interesting, isn't it? Because there's, as he says, there's clearly assets and things going on that could be used for other things. So, interesting.
Yep. I don't know. It could be clickbait, but he's never really been a clickbaity sort of guy. So it was just an odd one. But what he picked up, from what I remember of it, it was basically the capacity for them to change what is in the menu screen, where it talks about the Livonia DLC. And I was like, well, why do they need to do that? Is it possibly it's just something that might improve the performance of it? But who knows? So, yeah.
But I've been saying, mate, I've been saying this since they first started talking about remastering the airfield. I was saying back then, I think it's not just going to be the update we just had. I think there's something else coming. And it would make sense that there is another map or something big like that may well be coming. I don't know. I think it's a strong possibility, mate. I think record number of players online. I think massive strides forward with this update. It wouldn't surprise me, mate, if there's suddenly something dropped early next year.
It's like, yeah, and again, this will show my limited understanding of some of the technical aspects of the game. But yeah, we hang shit on the guy all the time. But Dancer Jesus, who he's obviously done a lot of work with the remap of the Northwest Airfield for Chernerus, and he's done Nishnoi, and he's done some other things. And people are always sending through little issues with the map and stuff like that. But like, I always wondered just how much work is there that a full-time employee can do as an environment designer. Maybe he has been, and I do not know. And I've always made it a point of pride that I never push any questions other than as a joke. I might have a joke every now and then with him, but I never put him in a position where he has to say, I can't answer that question. I don't like doing that. and I don't like people doing it in the Discord other than as a joke and stuff like that. But, you know, to me, like with my limited understanding of what's involved in that role, surely he has to have been working on another map or something to justify being a full-time employee.
Well, think about it, right? Think about it from another point of view, right? This new remastered airfield, if you are a company and you're setting forth a brand new, I just read what Scales put in there. You're putting through a new concept and this remastering of the airfield. Surely they would have agreed that and set that target a year previous, at least, maybe a year, maybe 8 months, 9 months previous, and given a good 4 or 5 months worth of, right, that is your sole project. So if that's the case, and this has just been released, we all know that a lot of devs work on multiple projects at the same time. So for me, I would say the timing would be March next year, and something will happen maybe. I would not be surprised. I think it's very realistic. Yeah.
And potentially, a promo for it for the anniversary on December 16th. But also remember, Stud Muffin, he probably does a lot of other stuff. Like I've seen him do some silly edits and stuff like that. I think he's working on his own map as well, his own DLC map. I won't say too much more about that. I can't remember how much has been confirmed or not, but yeah. So, yeah. But I don't know. But yeah, I might be reading too much into it, but it just makes me sit there and think, surely there's got to be something else. And, with a comment like what Skullspeeder shared,
yeah.
At the same time, we know Scotty has a wicked sense of humor as well. So he could just be trolling. And, with some of the stuff that he's done in the past, the April Fools and all the rest of it, we know he doesn't mind a good roast and troll of people. So, yeah.
But there were some other interesting things. There were some other interesting things in that video, though. I mean, what about the airdrops? I mean, the loot spawn. I mean, I went over. I did a live the other week, last week on the new update, and it was really nice to see. It was good to see that stuff is actually spawning, objects that you can interact with and pick up, like drinks or whatever it may be, military, whatever it may be, weapons, ammo, on top of those packages, and they disappear and come back, in the same spots. I'm
going to say a hot take here, Cobra. I was a bit disappointed with those airdrops, that they weren't really airdrops. I was really hoping for another dynamic event. That, it's great. I like it. I love the fact that it's out there in the middle of the airfield as well. So, it's a bit like the old run to that ATC at the very old Northwest Airfield.
Mm-hmm.
You had to have balls of steel to do it, because it wasn't too far from the fire station and those couple of barracks that were there, but it was out in the open, and there were always snipers in the trees. But I was hoping it was going to be something a bit more impressive visually. We've seen what some of the servers have got with mods for airdrops. You hear the plane, you see the plane. DayZ Underground, get your bingo cards out. Not DayZ Underground, DayZ Down Under. I've seen it where they've got plane crashes and you actually see the plane crash in front of you. And that's what modders can do. I only imagine what they could do with when they've got the full access to the files of the game.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd like to see a red load of smoke and a package falling out of the sky on official. I'd love to see that. But bearing in mind, from what there was to what there is now, that's the halfway marker. And I think I've been on there streaming now 4 times on that new update, and I've gone to the airfield every time. The fire station and the ATC is on every occasion is just full of campers. And when you run out to that little drop, well, even though it's not a drop, air drop, whatever they class it as now, there is no cover unless you're inside that big plane. There is no cover. You are open for snipe all over the show there. So I think it adds another dynamic up in that area. I think it's so very open now, and there's loads of possibilities there. You have to take risks to get anything in that area now, which is great. I love that. So all in all, I'm actually quite pleased with the update there.
I like what Michael said. and this is something that I was really hoping for. When they introduced the dynamic toxic zones, and pretty much unless you're lucky enough to hear the artillery firing, if it's during the day, most people aren't going to see that little red flare in the sky. Maybe it's a bit more visible now with the new skybox. I haven't actually tested that, but I would have loved there to be more reason for people to have a radio turned on. The servers that have got some of the cool mods where, like what Michael's alluding to, that it comes over the radio on a default channel, whether it's the 87.8 or another channel, and it communicates. Then there's some servers it just comes up as a text message. Some servers I think have even got voice messages. Anything to get people to have a radio turned on would be great. And Darkwing, that's an option. That the helicrashes could become rarer if they do that. But at the same time, well, the way a lot of the community servers do it is that the airdrops only kick in because they're usually the best loot on those servers. But the airdrops kick in when there is X amount of players on the server.
Players on the modded ones, yeah.
So that it's going to be hotly contested. So it's an organic dynamic event that creates organic interaction. If you only go there if you are prepared to fight for it, and if you're not prepared to fight for it, you don't go there. You may go there and just be waiting to see who. Wait till all the gunshots dry off and then make your approach to take out the winners. Be the third party or the fourth party or the fifth party in the fight over the airdrop. I've had some great battles at airdrops. I imagine you have too, Cobra.
Oh yeah, I mean, last week I've had about 9. I've got so many shorts up there recently in the last 4 streams up there. I mean, there was about 9 interactions, 6 of which were all in the ATC. So people camping in the second and third floors. But I think there's what I've not seen so far, and I think it's going to be used more and more as time goes on and people realise the benefits of it. But the very top of the fire station there, it is pretty much shielded unless you're at elevation. You are pretty shielded, and I've not been shot at from there. I went up there twice, and I could see everything, and no one really noticed me until I shot. So I think that's something that's going to end up being exploited quite a bit more as time goes on.
That was always there back in the old Northwest Airfield, and sure as shit, there was often someone up there, and it made for an interesting point. It was, there's always areas like back in the old Cherno, you had 2 infamous structures, Triple Yellow and Blue Square, they were called. And it was an industrial that was right on the edge of the old Cherno town, or Cherno city. And sure as shit, there was always someone up on top of those 2 sniping down at all the freshies in Cherno. But it was something you were aware of. And as you know yourself, when you're up there, if you're on a third-person server, it's going to give you a bit of an advantage. But on a first-person server, you've actually still got to get up. You've still got to get to a crouch to be able to see if there's anyone around. So even on a third person, you might be able to see that there's people around, but you've still got to get to a crouch or a standing position to be able to shoot over that little lip on top of the tower there.
Here's another one for you.
I loved it.
This is something else I worked out. The SSG site, as you will all know, is unremovable. You can't take it off, right? Check it out when it's turning nighttime. All right. I tested this with the hunting scope, with Cobra sights, with whatever else I could get my hands on. The SSG site, when it's turning nighttime, is a lot dimmer, believe it or not, than every other site I have used. So I had an SSG up there. We had 2 guys we were PvPing up there, and I couldn't see them through the SSG scope. But I switched over to the hunting scope. I switched over to short range hunting scope I was using there, and various other sites. You could see plain as day. So I'm not quite sure what's happening with that SSG site there, but I noticed that this week. Interesting.
Yep. But overall, I love the new Northwest Airfield. I love the changes. I just kind of wished that there'd been a better quality airdrop. I know there were people like Lad. He didn't like the idea of a dynamic airdrop. Didn't make sense to him. But I kind of countered back with, well, does it make sense that there's someone firing artillery into the player's map and gassing towns and all the rest of it? It would have been a great mechanic to have had in the game, because some of those cool mods I talked about, they can tank a server. If there's a fair few players around when that airdrop's coming in, it can tank a server's performance. So it would have been nice to have seen something actually built into the game itself. But yeah, either way, it's going to be it's awesome. They did a great job, and the proof is in the pudding with the player numbers. What is the player numbers at the moment?
Well, I'll tell you what I've noticed on all of the official servers. There's bloody full or queues, mate, all over the show. First 2 pages are constant since the update, full plus waiting lists. So that's really nice to see. But I think the next big thing for official is an old school argument here. They've got to do a little bit more with the base building. They've got to do something with that. I think if they take care of that, the game is done. It's good. It's great on that bit there. It needs to happen. I think that's a lot of the feedback I'm receiving all the time now.
Yeah,
it's just the base building now. If they can sort that base building out, just even the terrain bits, even on the hill, whatever it may be, lessen whatever the figures are. Just lessen them a little bit, so that you can. I mean, I'm not saying build anywhere mod, but what you do need is an in between that, so you can actually properly build. Look at all the other games. I think a lot of the other games are catching DayZ and surpassed them on that one item there and that one area there. And if DayZ dealt with that, I'll tell you what, this is the complete game then, isn't it?
Yeah. I know a lot of people don't like bases, but there's plenty of servers out there that don't do them. And it's part of the vanilla game. But yeah, I feel for people playing without build anywhere and able to, build inside a house to block off a door and things like that. Even just a few simple things like there's some pretty cool door mods out there to be able to lock down a house a bit more realistic, board up the windows and that sort of stuff. Yeah. And some basic base defenses. So when you're offline and someone raids, they've still got to be careful. Something that slows them down. I'm not talking about rust-style turrets and all the rest of it, but just some basic booby traps, mines that actually are a bit more invisible. That you've got to bury and not just leave sitting on the surface of the ground. Just a few things.
AEDT, mate. There you go. AEDT.
Yep. That stuff, it's kind of tricky, but once you know the basics of it, it's not that tricky to work out how to do that stuff if you've got the right tools, which are laying around everywhere in the game. You got wire, you got detonators now, you got plastic explosive. I still dream of the day they had Anfo, but yeah, now we've got all these bags of fertilizer laying around that do bugger all, grow veggies and tan leather.
There you go, mate. Easy.
Yep. Okay. What are we on to next? Cobra's CC Spotlight.
Yeah, okay. So I've gone down a slightly different route this week. So I came across by accident actually a channel called Frag Dempsey, right? And
I'm pretty sure I've heard that one before. I've heard of that guy
before. I've never heard of him, and it was only because of one of his a video. I think he plays multiple other games. He's got 30,000 subs to his channel, which is nice to see. But he's actually funny. He's actually really funny. He reminds me of Christ, I remember the name in a minute. A good few years ago now, there was a really funny DayZ content creator who just used to go round, not stitching people up, but in his RP type voice would make situations just absolutely hysterical funny. And this guy, he had me laughing in the first few minutes, to be fair. So he was chasing players, but he wasn't shooting them. He was chasing them with his comms, and he was making up little stories, like giving himself little missions and stuff. It was actually quite funny. So my spotlight of the week this week is going to be this new chap, Frag Dempsey. I say he's new.
No, I haven't heard of this guy. Let's have a quick look.
Carl, Carl, where are you, Carl? My lovely son. Have you seen my son? Carl, have you seen my son?
I mean, there's a random freshie not knowing what the fuck is going on
Can you
here.
help me find my son?
Oh, dude, did you see that guy punch that guy? That was crazy. Where'd he go? Where'd that guy go? Uh-oh.
He's just crazy, mate. It's funny.
Okay. We'll share a link. We'll share a link in chat. This is the sort of stuff I love.
Yeah, he's done well.
I don't want to throw any shade, but there's just so much. Watch me wreck a server and watch me do this to a server and all the rest of that sort of stuff. It's nice to see some people. You could argue he's just copying, stuff from The Walking Dead and stuff like that, but that still shows creativity, and that's quite funny. That he's just earned a sub from me, mate. I'll be watching. I look forward to content like that makes me laugh. That it showcases one of the things that why there's 65,000 plus people playing is because you can do anything in DayZ. It's not just the same stuff over and over again. This game has got longevity, and people doing stuff like this is why it does.
I mean, the video's only 8 minutes long, 8 and a bit minutes long, but it is just packed out with that type of stuff. And he's obviously just, I mean, my take on it is he's just running around scaring the shit out of freshies by just being crazy. And he's not running around shooting them. He's running around interacting and just taking the absolute Michael, which is quite funny. So, it's a slightly different take on things. I thought that was worthy of my spotlight today. I'm sure he's going to do well. So there you go.
Just sharing it on Twitter as well, because that's awesome. I'm always looking for, and there's so many. There's probably more out there, and we apologise for not showcasing everyone. But there's only so much we can do. Speaking of which, I do want to add something in here. Actually, I'll save it for my spotlight at the end. Might surprise people who I'm going to showcase for my spotlight. But it was really good to see this. But no, that's good. I'm excited about that one. Mod spotlight. There's only one person who I can shine the spotlight on this week. Have you seen Rag Tyson's Christmas stuff he's been releasing? For his, I've
only seen a little bit. I need to see some more of this.
This is phenomenal. The guy is just a machine. I actually asked him, how do you pump out so much stuff? But we talked about the smoker, I think last week or the week before. But the one that I want to showcase this week, he's got two things already. And I poked fun at the dev team and I said, you guys are really going to have a hard time beating this. DayZ do a Christmas tree. That's usually in the town square and a spawn stuff. Watch this.
Normally grenades.
I apologize for the quality, but I'm not going to risk these stream shitting itself again.
What's this? A stocking?
Yep.
Oh, you've got food supplies. All right, okay.
But you can change what's in these, but this is the part that blew me away.
Can you cut? Is this going to show us cutting down the tree and making a Christmas tree? Oh, chop Christmas tree. There we go. I take it its sizes. Yeah, there you go. Have you got to walk back like a barrel? Yeah, okay. Now, can you put anything on the Christmas tree?
Watch. This is awesome.
Oh, it comes with baubles and stuff at the start.
It gets better.
Oh, has he got a little generator and attachment, has he? Oh, okay. Let's have a look. Little glowing lights, okay. Well, there you go, little gifts. Is that frozen?
No, it's just a text box. He's just explaining the other features that he's added to. Yeah. So Christmas Day, when you log in, there's going to be all these gifts under your Christmas tree.
Oh, shit. Right, okay.
And server owners can set what the items are in those gifts.
Santa has been.
I love this. But this isn't the only one he's done. He's also... Oh.
What's he got next then? Advent calendar. Oh, God. What a surprise you get out of these then. So I assume this will be food mainly.
I think it's, again, you can customize what you want to be in it.
Can you? Oh, okay. So you can. Is that set so that you can only open one on the day?
That's what I believe he's done.
Right. Okay. I see. That's clever. Yeah.
He's just phenomenal. Like as I said, I don't understand how he's able to pump out so much, stuff that I couldn't even make the most basic reskin of a mod. But Rag is just like Tyson's said, very cool. I love Tyson's work. He's an excellent modder, and he purely does it for his passion. And I'm gonna jump ahead now and do my spotlight. And my spotlight this week is on, if you paid attention, then you would have seen a name pop up that I'd searched, and it's the Running Man, and he did a tweet. Here it is here. If you're making a new map or a new mod and you want to add some DayZ streamers about it, do it. Maybe try to do it sporadically and not every tweet, every time, but all the same, do it. Streamers are a small part of the shop window of DayZ. Map creators and modders are a massive part of the success of DayZ, along with loads of other people, especially quite obviously the devs. Similarly, it's very true that map creators and others do not get anywhere close to the right support for what they do for us. If you want to share a donate link, do it. If people like your map, they may support you. It's okay to have a donate link and let people know about it. It's very hard to get it out to people that may want to support you when you make a map and all your work is done before the players get to play. You did the work anyway. There should be no shame in letting people know where they can support you and why. If you specifically are a map creator or modder and have a donate or Patreon link, please feel free to share it below this tweet. Let us know what you've worked on too for us while you're at it. Thank you to all the modders and map creators helping to make the game better for all of us. And this was amazing to see someone of his caliber, pushing the hashtag adopt a modder thing that we've always been about here on the podcast and 87.8 Survivor FM. And thanks to that post, I got to find out about this next thing I want to talk about. Have you heard about the Scotland map?
Yeah. Same person that's done the Ukraine map, yeah? Iceland, Ukraine map. Is that the same one?
No, different guy.
Oh, okay, different guy.
His name is Long Dog DayZ. And I've sent him a message. I'd love to get him on, but apparently they've got Iron Brew and Haggis already in the game. But they're making a map based on Scotland, and I hadn't heard about it, and I would love to see that. Absolutely.
I did hear about this about a month ago, because there's a Blackpool. There's someone talking about a London bloody map, for Christ's sake. Imagine how difficult that's going to be. But yeah, no, that sounds cool, mate. Sounds cool. So you can have Edinburgh, Glasgow, all kinds of stuff going on up there.
But yeah, I just don't know. There's no date on it. I know they just finished up a play test. So yeah. And again, if you are doing play tests of maps, and you want to run one in the Australia-New Zealand region, hit us up. We've got a server down under, which anyone who's doing a play test of a map and wants to increase the exposure of it, we're happy to run your server, run your map on our server, is what I meant to say. But yeah, so massive love to Paul for sharing that. I think I replied with, and to any creators out there who do donate, please, I know some of you don't want the attention for it. You just want to do something nice, but it's a great way to lead by example, to showcase that, you slipped a 50 to, insert random modder's name. If people see you do it, then they'll think, yeah, that's a good thing. I know there's always a risk, that person might turn out to not be such a nice person. I know there's a big issue going on. I'm not going into that, but about someone. But if you're doing it for a good reason, it shouldn't matter who you've donated to. If something comes out about them later down the line, but yeah.
Well, you can never know that, mate, can you?
No. So the same goes for streamers. We had a streamer just recently who's in jail apparently, who turned out to be not a very nice person. But if you donated to them in the past, that doesn't make you, a bad person for doing that. You were doing something nice to help someone who you thought was nice. So yeah, don't be afraid to donate to someone who you want to support. And I'm thinking of rejigging the way we do our Powley, and actually changing that to be focused around, some of the legends who are in our community predominantly. And any donations that get made via that link will get split between those people. So, that's something I replied about.
Sounds fair.
They could do, you could even do it yourself, Cobra, when you're streaming. You're playing on a certain server and there's some really cool mods on it. You can reach out to those people, and provided that they set themselves up in that powley.gg, they can receive any donation shared amongst them, and you get an alert on screen so you can thank your community for donating to support those modders. So it's a win-win for everyone. We all know how alerts work. People get that little endorphin rush of being recognised for having, slipped a $5 or $10 or whatever. So yeah, why not use it for good?
Yeah, fair enough, mate.
Okay. Quick one, folks. Don't forget Lid Hosting. They're awesome for the support that they've shown our community. And if you're looking for a server in the EU region, give them a try. They've got that awesome where you can do a trial just to see how their servers perform. Please take them up. I'd love to hear from anyone who has any feedback. But Drower and the team there, much love. Can't thank you guys enough. Please remember, link in the description down below, and check them out. Now, we've got no lemons this week, so no console talk, but we did do another wiki community quiz. I messed up. I thought I'd posted this earlier this week, but what animal never made it to the game? Now, let me bring up our channel.
Horse.
Where am I? YouTube Studio. There we go.
Is this going to be one that actually surprises everybody?
Possibly. For some of the old school people, probably not. Okay, so the question, let's run the gauntlet again.
You're going to try and bring this up.
There we go.
It's working.
This week's DayZ Wiki question is, what animal was previewed in a pre-alpha devlog but was never seen in-game? And the four options were the mouflon, the deer, the rat, and the bird. And 62% of people, a type of sheep, I believe. But the correct answer was a rat. And very early on in the dev blog where Dean was running around showing walking animations, rats were a previously shown animal in DayZ. It was featured in DayZ dev blog 7th September 2013 by Rocket showing walk animations. It is unknown if rats were considered as a wildlife feature or were just ported from another title. Rats are present in the files of early patches of the game, including idle, still, run, and def animations. And then they linked to the actual wiki where they showcased it, showed the a bit more info about it.
Well, that actually makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? That does make a lot of sense. Rats in an apocalypse is quite a clear one, isn't it? Am I imagining it? Or if you set traps up, have I not seen rats suddenly appear in traps?
No, I don't believe so. Maybe on a modded server.
Modded, it must have been modded, but yeah. Okay.
Chickens,
are they still in the files?
I don't think so, unless someone's added them. But yeah, it's the chickens and rabbits that you catch in the snare trap.
Yeah, Hunter made rats. There you go. I knew I've seen it somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah. But no, that's
another absolute legend who stuns me with the sheer volume of stuff that he's able to pump out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, done well.
Yo, back at you, Augie Doggy. I love that name, by the way, Augie Doggy. That's cool. But yeah. Okay, so we'll get the next question up. Lazian, if you're watching, send me through your next question. I'm really enjoying doing this. The whole premise is, for a bit of fun, but also reminding people that the DayZ Wiki exists. And the team behind that, again, they're all volunteers. They don't make any money, and they're doing the good work by keeping that website as up to date as they can. Okay, so individual spotlights now. Well, I've kind of done mine already. Again, big shout out to Paul, the running man, for spreading the word about, don't feel bad for shilling your Patreon or your PayPal or something like that, folks. For those who understand it, unless you are a god tier PC person who can do every single thing from making models, animating models, doing the code, and all the rest of it, as well as living your life, having a family, having a job, you can't do it all yourself, so you're going to outsource, and that usually means a bit of money. So there's nothing wrong with asking people to chip in where they can to help you, whether it be funding the actual model directly or giving the money to the modder to be able to do it how they want. But it's up to you what you want to do. Please look at the options. Go check out your favorite mods. Go check out your favorite maps on Steam and see if there's a link there for how you can support that person. What about you, Cobra?
Must be the week for all of the more well-known people, bigger people in the kind of the content creation community. So my shout-out spotlight this week would be, I was speaking to Josh JLK. Many of you will know or have seen his videos. He brought out a new server on Friday, 6 p.m. It's called Loaded. If you want to have a look at it or search for it, it's called Loaded EU1 Chernarus Modded. Currently, he's just had to add, obviously, VIP status to it so that people can purchase if they want to prior queue, because it's full. It's 100 out of 100 right now. I had a little tinkle on there yesterday. Now, there's a bit of a problem at the moment. I think a couple of hours ago, the provider, the host provider, had a few issues and it's been down for a couple of hours. But I like what he's done with the server. I really do. I think it's a really good balance of what I'd look for in a server that I'd want to kind of show off. So I'm going to be on there a little bit more the next week or two, and hope to get myself a little bit of content on there. But it's definitely one I think many of you should go and try out. He did say to me that he's going to, I think he's made it public now, that he's going to open up a second one, because this has become quite popular in the last couple of days. So that waiting time to get in will obviously then diminish a little bit, hopefully, as there will be 2 servers added shortly. I don't know when, he didn't tell me when, but maybe next week, I should imagine. But no, it's a really good server. It's the Cherno map, and it's got a couple of good mods on there as well. It's not heavily modded, but it's decent modded. It's not too modded. It's not It's not something that you're not going to enjoy. So go check it out. Take a look.
I was chatting with him a while back. I'm actually trying to do another interview with him for the 12 Days of Christmas. When he was chatting with me, he said it's going to be a balanced server between super modded and vanilla. I actually replied to him and said, not going to lie, that sounds weird. He says, why? It sounds counterintuitive. Vanilla implies vanilla, lightly modded at most. Super modded makes me think rearmed, etc. Like saying PvPvE. People will get confused. Which is it? He said, we're taking what's boring and empty from vanilla and mixing it with highly modded stuff, but doing it in a balanced way. And he shared a couple of images with me of like the medical guide. He's going to have a medical syringe, a field bandage, the IFAC, and then also some variations of the armor, a JPC vest, a light vest, the press vest, tack plate, plate carrier, the 6B13 and the AAC plate, the higher tier stuff. So, he's
got airdrops on there. He's got a few other bits. I think he's got expansion on there at the moment as well.
Yep.
So, it's looking good. It's looking all right.
I've actually just been playing on an expansion server myself, and I want to get those guys back on again because they're still soldiering on with that amazing mod, and it's if you're looking for something a bit easier where you don't have to have a dozen mods to do a few different things, look at expansion, folks. It's got a lot of really good stuff built into it. So Steve and the team over there at the DayZ expansion, amazing work, guys. You're fucking awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we are pretty much done for this week. Just double checking, making sure we didn't miss anything. Nope. Next week, we have got a sort of a player episode. It's a couple of local lads, Seth and Camo, who I've played with from time to time. But they actually asked to come on. And I'll throw this out there. I do enjoy finding out of something interesting that I didn't know about in the community and asking people. But don't be afraid to ask us if you want to come on as a guest to showcase something as well. These two reached out to me and said, I'd like to come on and talk about this sort of role play that they do when they're on servers. And it's the AN, the DayZ's version of the UN, and their humanitarian squad. And I said, for sure, would love to hear of it because, people who say DayZ's boring, I've said this before and I will keep on saying it, Cobra. Nah, man, the game's not boring. It's just you.
Yeah, I agree.
There's so many different ways you can play this game. You just need to have a look at the way you're playing and try something different that you might not have tried before. There's so much to do. Scale Speeder, you're a legend, mate. Thank you so much. I need to have a chat with you too, by the way, Scale Speeder. You have a good night, mate. And everyone else out there, you all have a good night too. Cobra, thank you once again. Sorry about the tech issues midstream, folks. New software. I don't know why it didn't like me opening that Humble Bundle page, but it didn't. And maybe that was it telling me not to be a shill.
Sounds about right, mate. Sounds about right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you all next week, same time, same channels, as always. If you're watching the stream over on Facebook, if you're watching the stream on Twitter, let us know how it's going. We try to get everyone to come to YouTube. That's our main channel. But I've always been a proponent of multi-streaming. And if it makes it easier for you to watch wherever you are in the world, that's what it's all about. Cobra, congratulations on 20K, by the way, buddy.
Oh, we're not there yet. We've got a couple of hundred left to go, but hopefully
unsub. Everyone unsubscribe now. Unsubscribe. Make it go backwards.
Yeah, thanks, people. Appreciate your support.
Nah, awesome, mate. You've done very, very well. Again, proof that this game is just growing and growing.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. We've not done too bad for just under 2 years now, so 10,000 a year is not bad, I suppose. So yeah, we've done well. But until the next time, people, take care, and I'll see you on the next one.
Bye-bye.